33-year-old Botelho, 34-year-old Peralta, and the reach advantage is in favor of the Brazilian. Now let's send it into the cage to Joe Martinez.
Well, fight fans, we are set to go with the next fight tonight. 3 rounds in the flyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in officially 125.5 pounds. In 13 fights, her record stands at 8 victories with 5 defeats. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, here is Poliana Botelho. And across the cage, her opponent fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist is 5 feet 5 inches tall. She weighed in at the flyweight limit 126 pounds and holds a professional record of 5 victories with 2 defeats. Fighting out of Fairfield, Iowa, here is Helen Iansa Peralta. And your referee in charge is Kevin Nix.
Botelho versus Peralta in the flyweight division. Peralta in the all black, and Botelho in the black and yellow, and we're underway. This one is going to be a good one.
Something about Botelho this week is she was all business. And Peralta, all violence.
Incredibly aggressive. She calls herself an educated brawler with her fighting style, and already with that huge leaping Mark Hunt-esque hook to close the range, we are seeing that brawling style right from the get-go, Nate.
I loved what she had to say when she said, I know I'm going to get my hand raised, I just don't know how. She said she used to picture how she wanted that victory to come, but now she wants to just be in the flow and see how things go, and we'll see if she's in the flow here tonight.
And Botelho showing her well-roundedness, getting those shoulder bombs in there, fighting for bicep control, her back up against the cage, but still staying on the attack. Peralta keeping her nice and tight, back to the cage. Looking for that trip. I love the way they're fighting just for these small things within this exchange. For Helen, it's about hiking her up, getting her higher. For Botelho, it's really about getting as many attacks as possible so she can switch and shift the positioning of Peralta.
Peralta has double unders here. She's doing a really good job of not giving Botelho any space, but I think Botelho needs to aggressively start switching her hips so she can grab that underhook so she can create space, reverse the position. But Peralta, she's just so strong in these exchanges. She has very strong in the position of the over-under in the clinches, but Botelho is doing a good job of trying to close.
Yeah, she's got that left underhook. She was reaching around the back, and she's now able to secure a better position.
Looking for her own.
Beautiful. Has Peralta up against the cage now. Fighting against the cage is like, the practice that you have to do right there just to gain an inch. The amount of effort it takes to off-balance somebody and continue to look for a way to attack them. Really technical, cool stuff right there. Botelho is definitely looking to get a high positioning and a low positioning for a lift or a shift. I like how she's doing that. Helen Peralta's reading and kind of backpacking around her, looking for that head position, but also looking to turn back.
Again, Peralta's the one with the back to the cage right now in the all black.
Ooh, spinning attempt there from Botelho. Gets her up against the cage again.
I love the initiative, looking for that spinning elbow, but man, not the best decision giving up control like that, Julie.
She seems pretty content. I mean, she was able to get Helen back to the cage. And, it's kind of the smothering and turning war between them. Botelho is really reaching between the legs a lot of the time, trying to block out the hips. When you have underhooks, Well, now we have Peralta doing the same thing. Looks like she's trapped up in there. I like those palm strikes to the ear. That could be really disconcerting. Nice.
There's a right hand from Peralta.
Botelho just staying busy with those knees. It can get her balance a little bit off. You don't want to be on one foot for too long up against the cage.
I mean, right here, Botelho has the underhook. I want to see her aggressively look to escape out that side, reverse the position. Beautifully done there, right as I say.
She makes it look effortless, and you know it's so hard. After these days, I don't know about you, Megan, but after cage clinch days, I was a wreck. So tired. Nice knee there from Peralta. Oh, I like the way Botelho's reaching for that leg and also throwing knees at the same time. She's got the left underhook, abandons it, trying to get in on that single leg, unable to.
Just seconds remaining in round number 1.
Wow.
What do you make of the first 5 minutes of this one, Megan?
I mean, for two strikers, I don't think we see much striking.
Right.
I mean, both of them showcasing offensive and defensively cage wrestling. Peralta doing a really good job of showing her strength, but Botelho really showcasing her high-level wrestling, her ability to switch positions, control the position, and just really stifle that aggressive and strong control that Peralta brings to these exchanges.
And as much as Peralta likes to throw those haymakers, she has some great dirty boxing. And I think she actually pulled back on that just a bit to match Botelho's wrestling on the cage. She really wanted to win in those clinch exchanges for position. There was a lot of wrist grabbing, a lot of attempts for bicep control there. Sophisticated turns as well.
And with that, round number 2 is underway. Peralta comes out swinging.
Botelho doing some fakes and feints. She told us some of her strategy for this. Definitely to employ the feints if it was going to be a striking battle. And when you give up height the way Peralta is a bit, staying in there tight on somebody is a good idea. Trying to take that height away from that reach away from them.
Well, we've got verdict scoring underway, so for an update on that, let's check in with Eve Edwards.
The verdict scoring for this round is going to be pretty tight. Both women were pushing up against the fence, but I agree with the fans, man. I think Botelho was in more control, and she did more offensively in those clinches. I think the fans have this one right.
Fans voting on verdict. It was a close first round, guys, and Eve agrees with the fans. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think the fans have it right in this one, but Peralta's doing a good job of trying to control the position here, and I think she's doing a really good job of getting that body lock. I would just like to see her do a little bit more with it.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
She was able to shuck off the shuck, so to speak, and continue the takedown.
This is huge here for Botelho. She just needs to stay patient, look to control the position, and start to do damage. Watch out for those submission attempts. You know, as we see, Peralta is looking to put her feet on the hips so she can create space to throw up some offense. So Peralta needs to be offensive here, but man, Botelho is doing a really good job. As we see, she just moved her up against the cage, so now Peralta's head is kind of squished against the cage there, which is not a pleasant position to be in.
No, it isn't. Peralta controlling the wrist there. Botelho very patient, working by inches to get higher up so she can get a strike or a pass. Trying to ride the hips there. Peralta trying to get to her feet, gives up her back. She needs to scrape all the way to the side and make sure that back is against the cage. I love what Botelho's doing with that leg, though. That's the thing is we talk about Helen Peralta. Oh, nice elbow. Talk about her exciting side on her striking, but she really does a great job in fights, looking for little things, looking for controlling positions. Botelho is all over her in this moment with those grips. And Peralta's very patient, trying to work those hands off, trying to improve her position. Gets the underhook.
Beautiful knee there. I feel like this fight is like a war in the clinch right now. It's literally a war of attrition on who can control their opponent in the clinch, in this over-under position on the cage, more than the other, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is MMA. This is MMA in the tightest, most uncomfortable moments. And it really is showing Helen Peralta is not just a brawler. She is a technical fighter. She's able to read hip shifts and move around. And Botelho, you know, getting a little frustrated out there, but continuing her attack, continuing to find ways to attack Helen Peralta, even with her back on the cage. Now, she's really pinned up there. That is a tight position to be in. She's trapping her hand between her legs, yanking on the elbow, and doing the shoulder shrug. If Peralta could free that arm, she could shoot down because the legs are on one line, but that was a really very creative fighting.
One minute remaining in round number 2. But Peralta showed some calmness in some difficult spots a couple of times in this round as well.
Beautiful.
Go back to the ground.
I mean, I think these takedowns from Botelho are very crucial in the potential judging of this round. You know, when you have two fighters that are very similarly strength in a position and it's very back and forth, these takedowns are huge for Botelho right here.
And you can see Botelho grinding her head in, not letting Peralta create space to strike. And that's an interesting thing from the guard. You know, we talk about posturing up, but if Helen Peralta keeps her head down and Botelho doesn't shuck her hand off her head, she's also keeping pressure to prevent the striking. She's up now. Nice elbow there and nice return. Ooh, I love that elbow, trapping the wrist and sliding over. Botelho continuing to swarm, but Peralta finding her shots.
Round number 2 comes to a close. And this is a difficult one right now, Megan Anderson.
It really is, but I think when you have a fight that is so closely matched, those takedowns, I feel like won Botelho that round in the eyes of the judges. Whilst Peralta did a phenomenal job of controlling the cage, doing some damage, and just showing her strength in these positions, those takedowns, I think, when you have a fight or a round where nothing significant really happens, things like takedowns like this particular moment and the takedown at the end of the round is what sets one fighter apart from the other. You know, but Peralta did have her moments, a lot of really good elbows, a lot of good control. Even on the ground, she was throwing up some strikes, but man, I think that definitely was a round for Botelho. Although I said that for the last fight, look at how that one went.
Anybody's fight maybe going into round number 3. Let's check in with Eve Edwards and find out what the fans think on verdict, Eve.
Well, this fight has been close throughout, but the fans see Botelho pulling away, and I believe it's what Megan said. You know, it's those takedowns, those positions where Botelho's in control. That's where she's pulling away, and I believe that's what the fans are seeing.
Eve, talking with you at breakfast about your favorite types of fights to watch, I feel like this is one you might really be enjoying.
Yeah, these guys are very, very tactical, and this fight right here is some of the hardest things in mixed martial arts, and also some of the smartest. You have to be very smart in these small openings, and you have to give up no spaces, but you have to be very, very sharp on your offenses and your defenses to have any success.
I agree with Eve. Like, it is, this type of fight is a game of inches. And it's very important that you're making the right critical decisions in these moments. Like, this type of fight is exhausting.
Right.
Grinding up against the cage, looking to take down. If any, I feel like this is more exhausting than anything else. Just this grinding style of fight is, I think it's just attributed to how incredibly high level both of these ladies are. They're showcasing their skills in these very technical positions, as Eve is saying, and showcasing their cardio, because they keep going forward. They keep moving, keep switching positions. It's just, like I said earlier, a war of attrition in these particular moments.
Yeah, if you're not spending a third of your fight camp in this kind of clinch, you're doing it wrong. You absolutely need to be training this as an MMA fighter. This should be a huge part of your game, if to counter it or to finish from here. And they're both really nullifying the other's attacks very, very well.
And Jules, not just the physical fitness component, but the mental fitness part to stay focused and locked in this deep into the fight.
Absolutely. I've broken in fights because I was so sick of being held. Like, they're both doing a brilliant job.
Caitlin Young likes what the crowd has to offer here, an educated fan base here in Oklahoma City, and we would expect nothing less.
Love to hear it.
Wrist control there to a knee there from Peralta, and you can see Botelho is still fighting on the inside. I love what she's doing. I love what Peralta's doing. It's interesting that she keeps trapping Peralta's hands between her legs and kind of wrenching on that shoulder. That's actually a very uncomfortable place to be.
Very unorthodox technique there, Julie.
Halfway through round number 3.
Ladies, we know that the brain is also not only an organ, but it's also a muscle.
Yep.
And your body is absorbing so much of the red blood cells and the oxygen in this type of fight, but your brain needs that oxygen too.
And there was a really nice liver shot there from Peralta earlier.
By Botelho.
I thought that would have affected Botelho. It looked like she was winded, but then you see what she did.
Just hit that knee on the entry. Beautiful. Not gonna lie, I was a little excited there. I thought we were gonna separate, see some striking.
Right.
Alas, now we're back in this position. And I mean, when you're looking from the outside, this type of fight can look very boring. But when you're in there, it is such a technical, grinding style of fight, and it just showcases the high-level nature of both of these athletes. And this is why this was one of the fights that I wanted to look for, because both of them incredible strikers, but I think they're both showcasing their incredible wrestling.
Oh, lovely.
What a oh my goodness. The creativeness on that takedown, Julie.
Big knees there from Botelho. And, you know, that takedown, the way she wedges a leg in there and then goes for the toss afterwards. Botelho's done that several times where she's actually wrapping and not doing the full kind of executed takedown, but kind of nudging, and then reading the balance and going. Lovely, especially the knees off of it.
It's worth revisiting what Botelho told us before this fight. Everybody knows me about my striking, but I want to show people that I can do things on the ground. I can use my jiu-jitsu and my wrestling, and it's been like there's been a magnet towards the cage so far in this fight.
But Botelho continues to attack. I mean, she has had...
Beautiful.
Botelho's feeling it right now.
Yeah. Peralta moving forward, again, winging a little bit, but taking the punishment, throwing her own.
Well, I mean, with the guard of Peralta and her striking, it's very wild. So those knees are perfect right up the middle because those elbows aren't there to stop them getting through, Julie.
Final seconds of round number 3. And an embrace between Botelho and Peralta, a hard-fought contest. Of Botelho versus Peralta. Before we get the official decision, let's check in with verdict.
Now we look at the verdict scores. I mean, everybody has Botelho just ahead on this fight. A very, very tough fight. But let's see what the judges say, because they're the ones with the final say tonight.
All right, and for that, let's check in with Joe Martinez.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Here are the totals: 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Poliana Botelho!
In her Invicta debut, Poliana Botelho. And you can just see what it means.